Alright guys, ShahZaM back again today. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT Rostermania with further confirmations over the last 24 hours. We also have the announcement from ShahZaM that he will be leaving Sentinels when his contract expires, it seems, and joining probably a tier 2 roster in Ascension. Does definitely intend to continue competing and not just go down the content route and retire from competitive play. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Just to mention real quick, 2 notable Valorant players on the Esports PC Player of the Year list here, presented by whoever. Yay, Simple, Twist, all these guys, as you might expect. But yes, Yay and Xiao of course, well, FPX Xiao. And as it is now, Cloud9 Yay on this list representing the Valorant scene with all these other guys here. So yeah, that is the list right there that is happening soon. Just to mention this quickly as well, because EDG playing up against Talon, of course, 2 organizations from the Pacific sides. And EDG are seemingly crushing them 17-3 in this scrims. Usually in scrims, they don't play to the round win on 13. They just keep playing to play all the rounds. I think they just play the 24 rounds anyway. And yeah, not a pretty showing for this Talon team so far, but of course, all could change and difficult to read into what exactly is going on there. Just to say this quickly for Major, if you guys have followed the Counter-Strike scene for some time, you guys might know this name. Turkish-French player, definitely a big name a few years ago in the Counter-Strike world. He actually confirmed in his tweet longer that he wants to move to Valorant and thinks he's got something to do over there. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting confirmation. A couple of you guys pointed this out to me. Thank you very much indeed for that one. Let's talk about this then. So big talking points actually in terms of 2 Overwatch League teams looking to sign Ascension rosters. This is a big deal compared to what we're seeing from ShahZaM here in a second. So the 2 organizations are the Shanghai Dragons and the Washington Justice looking to come into Valorant for the VCT Ascension side. Really interesting stuff. Now it's difficult to predict, of course, how this is going to go, just because you've got, I mean, in Valorant you don't need to be tied to a city necessarily, but it can work, and I'm sure they could potentially make it work. And the brandings of these teams obviously very nice indeed. And yeah, what will they decide to do? Will they come into the Pacific region, sign players from that region? Will they decide to come into other regions? Because yeah, if all goes to plan, these 2 organizations will be playing in Ascension for the upcoming season. What rosters will they sign? That remains to be seen. This another big thing from the Overwatch side. We heard rumors the other day that another player in addition to Padapan were going to come over to Valorant to compete over there, and it's going to be Carpe, formerly great Overwatch player, is actually going to be joining. So Philadelphia Fusion player Carpe retiring from Overwatch, reportedly joining T1 as their 5th player. Like we heard the rumors that the 5th player was a big surprise for T1. We thought, okay, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Faker? Is it going to be Symbol? Like it turns out it's going to be Carpe from Overwatch, right? So yeah, big moves being made there. Makes sense that some of these guys, but it's interesting for Overwatch that a lot of their big name players are stepping away to switch to Valorant. So really interesting stuff. Is it a good move for Carpe? Is it a good move for T1? Having not really followed Overwatch, I'm not really sure, what the potential crossover here is actually going to be, but it's worked with other players in the past and probably will continue to work in the future. T1 taking a bit of a risk, but arguably it makes sense given the situation. Let's talk Sentinels then. Quick confirmation here. An analyst is going to be joining. That's Drew Spark. Going to be joining the Sentinels team as their analyst. Cool announcement video that he does right here. So interesting stuff. I think we saw Psycho the other day say that Psycho, Kaplan, the head coaches, they were going to bring in some help on the analyst side, and they're building out a serious team. Like Sentinels are definitely making their intentions known. They're not here to just be a clout team going forwards. They are here to win trophies and take names right. They're bringing everyone into the team, and a lot of teams in various esports now have brought out some serious staffing behind the scenes. Not just a head coach that has to manage personalities, but also looking to the stats and the reads of other teams and what their VODs are looking like, and just come up with new ideas. They've got loads of other guys to do that on board as well. So interesting, really. They kind of cleared house in a way. The Sentinels team that had Weltis briefly at the end of last season working for them. Now he is gone. They're bringing in Drew Spark instead. And I guess they've just, brought into question their conversations around Psycho and who he wanted to bring in. And that was the thing that Psycho said in that interview with Wyatt River, that he effectively, initially, Sentinels had an idea that they wanted to go with the roster, and he was kind of just on board with it and was coming along for the ride as their head coach. But then that fell through, and then he was asked the question, okay, who do we want to bring on? What conversations do we want to have? And then from there, he's kind of helped build the entire roster from the ground up in a sense, and kept TenZ and brought in Sassy Pancada, and also building out their coaching staff. I think his first pick was to bring Kaplan in, formerly of Ghost, and now here we are with Sentinels bringing out a pretty extensive squad really, and Pancada, of course, is going to be part of that. Thought this is crazy actually, just to mention for you guys, Pancada released a track on Spotify just yesterday, I think. It's really interesting stuff, but yeah, this is accessible if you guys want to search it up and find it, see if it's actually any good. I haven't listened to it yet, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Definitely something that's happening more and more often nowadays. And maybe in due course, he can make a song in English if his Duolingo skills keep going up towards the moon. Now, just to say this quickly from Ethan, because we believe Ethan's going to join Evil Geniuses, and as he says here, had a great little vacation. Looking forward to what's in store for me next year. So still, many big confirmations yet to arrive. This is just quickly the latest spreadsheet here from Flynn. On the left-hand side, you guys can see that Ethan to Evil Geniuses is probably going to happen. It's far from guaranteed, but it's in that kind of 75% likelihood range as it presently stands. That's what's going on there. This is what's going on all around the world. But one of the key questions to me is, what's happening in Tier 2? It's obviously getting pretty spicy down there. This is what's going on in the Brazilian side. The challengers split one invite teams, the other organizations that are forming, and the players, of course, from those respective organizations. This is Brazil. This is for Latin America, north and south of these regions. And then also, of course, we've got North America, which currently looks like this. So, FaZe are going to keep going. Probably babybay, poised, dicey. No confirmation about Flyer, Superman as it stands. TSM as well. Big questions going on there. The guard as well. Valid might not be here anymore. He might go potentially to Evil Geniuses. That's another option. They're looking for players. Ninth, TSM Academy version 1 potentially going into the inactive stage. But then we've got, the discussions on the Washington Justice, right? And Shanghai Dragons, you'd imagine, would be competing in the Pacific League. But Washington Justice, you'd think they'd be over in North America. So if they are interested in entering the scene, and you've got Xset potentially and Dark Zero and these other teams, even G2, they've pretty much confirmed, it's not been confirmed I don't think, but it's been rumoured heavily that they are looking to come to North America as well and compete in that side of things also. So what does this mean for players like ShahZaM, players like, dapr and even Sinatraa, but also a Zoms or a Shroud looking to potentially form a team in Tier 2? Because now that's the big question over the next couple of weeks. Now, I believe Reese's Cup here was asking ShahZaM what his plans are and why he's still got Sentinels in his name, and he says that for now he's going to ride the contract out, and then he plans effectively to leave and join another organization.
Oh, he's like fracture. I'm like, what?
Guys, you realize that when I do join a new team, that the streams are not going to be like 12-hour streams every day. It's going to be like I'm going to focus on competing. Like I'm just letting you guys know, like, we'll enjoy it right now. Not that I don't love streaming and that I don't want to stream, but I'm not ready to like hang up the mouse yet. I still want to compete. This year sucked in terms of competing, so eventually one day, I will be streaming full time, but I'm not ready to leave yet.
So after those ones we just saw, the Washington Justice, G2, of course we don't expect ShahZaM to get a spot on a Tier 1 team, but Tier 2 seems more and more likely, and there honestly could be a bit of a super team forming over there. Like, I don't expect ShahZaM and Zoms to team up again in Tier 2, that seems highly unlikely, but still, ShahZaM probably will get a good offer from somewhere or another. Yes, he didn't have the greatest past couple of seasons, or well, past season, let's say 2022, 2021 was certainly very good, but yeah, what do we think for ShahZaM's going to happen going forwards? Which all could he potentially join? And what does a coach like Immy think about ShahZaM's potential? And as I say, there's guys like dapr out there and all these players that will be great options for Tier 2 teams, and some of these players, the likes of Trent and such, already were on an all-glass season that's not in franchising, therefore Trent will stay, we believe, on the guard, but these guys that were on Sentinels and other teams that are now getting dropped, they'll have to find their spot somewhere. Even all the guys that got dropped from Cloud9, for example, Mitch and the like, where are they going to go? How many organizations will support them in Tier 2? Probably a fair few. So intrigued to your thoughts where ShahZaM will go. Could it be a G2 or another organization along those lines? And just to say here from Naki to close out the video, the Clout Performance Index, this is not the CPI of inflation, this is the CPI for Valorant, and looks into effectively, well, it's an interesting analysis that he does this. This is North America. The Clout Performance Index is calculated as follows. So you take the player ratings, or how good they are, and then you multiply that by the change in their Twitter followers over the past 30 days, divided by their highest placement in an A tier or higher event. So the better they are as players, the better they place, and how much Twitter clout they effectively have. That's the big difference maker. So it's interesting that he doesn't do it on pure Twitter following numbers, just because I guess that could be biased to a certain degree. It's more about kind of gains in the last month or so. So we look at North America here, there's some key names. Ye is top of the clout list on Cloud9, then it's Zekin, then it's Pancada, then TenZ, then Cryo here, which I guess makes sense as well. So Sentinels dominate the clout Clout tier list here. TenZ, Zekken, Sassy, Bankada, Dephh, sick as well. They, I mean, they average 21,000 Clout points per player. They're dominating the rankings. Then you've got Loud or Cloud9 a second. Then you've got Loud. Then, you know, some other teams in the ballpark, 100 Thieves, NRG as well. What their rumored roster is to be. Evil Geniuses are a bit in the mud, I can't lie. It's not looking so good for them. There's some players on 0 as well if they haven't kind of attended a tier 1 event. That's North America. This is the European side. Honestly, significantly less clout. So you think about this compared to the North American scene, kind of crazy. Their top player is Scream at 12,000. Outside of that, they've got no one even rivaling any of the North American guys. And then in APAC, it looks like this. So yeah, you guys can argue whether the Clout Performance Index is a really good rating, but still, just wanted to say that Sentinels are certainly topping the list as it stands. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.